A pot-growing operation uncovered in Hyannis, and this winter's storms are taking a toll on the town's snow removal budget. Plus, we have details about an opportunity to run the snack bar at Sandy Neck Beach. These stories and more on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Tuesday, January 14th, 2014. I'm Sarah Mannel. Snow removal costs are already piling up. Cleaning up after the first storm of the year cost the town about $425,000. The town budgeted $600,000 for snow removal this year. DPW Director Dan Santos says expenditures are tough to estimate as there's just no predicting the weather.
What we tried to do is pick a number that's representative of maybe the last 10 years. So if you look at the record over the last 10 years, you'll see that some years were less than 600,000. In a number of years, including the past couple, were more than 600,000. In fact, last year we spent 1.7 million. So because of the unpredictability, and as you said, you don't want to have more in there because that becomes difficult to, give back basically. Right. So state law allows towns to spend and exceed their authority and appropriations for snow and ice removal just for this reason. And then that gets made up in the following year's budget. That's what gets paid first. So all the towns operate this way. Makes a lot of sense.
Santos says despite the toll storms have taken on the snow removal budget, the town will be ready and waiting for the next winter event. Barnstable police are investigating a suspicious fire at a vacant house in Marston's Mills. Barnstable This Morning host Sarah Colvin talked with Police Chief Paul McDonald about that and other issues. We share a portion of that interview with you now.
Let's talk a little bit about things that have happened. Some fires happened recently here in town. Chief, tell me a little bit about
Right. Over the last couple of days, there's been two fires, one out in Marston's Mills and one yesterday in Hyannis at 2 o'clock in the afternoon at 269 C Street. The first fire was Sunday night about 8 o'clock out off Arcadia Drive out in the Mills. It was a vacant house. It's been unoccupied for several years, and it's all overgrown. Actually, the fire department had a difficult time finding it and getting to it. That fire is under investigation. It is suspicious only because there is no ignition source in the house. There is no electricity. There is no gas. There is no way the fire should start unless somebody either started on purpose or accidentally. There is obvious indications that the kids in the area have been using it to party in the house, so we are looking at that. The other fire was at 269 C Street yesterday afternoon, about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It was a duplex. It's right in the corner of Murray Way and C Street. There's one occupant in the home. He left for a short time, went down to the convenience store. When he came back, the house was fully involved. The arson investigators have been out there all afternoon yesterday and into the night last night. They determined that to be accidental fire. It looks like it started with a discarded cigarette in the sofa, so that was not suspicious. But again, this is two fires this weekend, and you look back over the last couple of months, this past winter, the fire departments have been extremely busy. Of course, we had the fire at 50 Threshold Road, we had the fire at Loomis Lane in Centerville, which was a total loss. We had a fire at the corner of Coach Light in Old Stage, which was a total loss. So the fire departments have been busy this past winter.
Indeed. Chief, is there a tendency to see more fires this time of year than in the warmer months?
Absolutely, especially around the holidays. This is not unusual, but the number of fires, it is. However, all these fires, they have been explained. The only one suspicious fire is the one at 50 Threshold Road. And the problem with fire, once there is an arson involved, most of the evidence is destroyed with the fire.
Exactly. So certainly making it all the more difficult to investigate. So certainly thank you for filling in on that. And then you said you had some news about marijuana as well?
Well, last night the Hyannis Fire Department, they responded to 54 C Street Extension. Now, Hyannis 54 C Street Extension runs between Main Street and North Street. And they responded there just for a medical alarm. And while they're in the building, they're checking all the apartments, they're trying to find the source of the alarm. One door was open. They knocked on the door. They identified themselves. They went in to check on the well-being of anyone marijuana inside the building, and they found a marijuana growing complex, somewhat of a small complex, but they found 10 ounces of marijuana. They found 16 seedlings and one fully grown marijuana plant. They notified us. We responded. We identified the tenant of the apartment. He was extremely cooperative. He suffers from depression and post-traumatic stress disorder. He grows it, admitted to growing it for his own personal use. We have confiscated everything, and he will be summoned in because of the quantity of the marijuana.
Indeed, and I believe under our laws here in Massachusetts, growing for personal use is still not legal.
It's still not legal, and it's a civil citation for an ounce or less. He had 10 ounces plus that, and it's not yet. You can't grow it yet. It's coming, but not yet.
We're not Colorado quite yet.
Exactly.
So, Chief, so tell me, there were some changes in sheltering, or some information in sheltering that you wanted to make our viewers aware of?
We're looking to make some changes in Noah Shelter. A group 2 weeks ago, they went up to Lightbridge Shelter up in Salem. I went up there a couple of months ago. There are a number of shelters throughout the state, but there's only one in southeastern Mass, and that's Noah. And what I was looking for in some of the other individuals that's involved in this process is we're looking for some type of day center. Rather than just have the shelter open between the hours of 6 and 7 o'clock, 6 p.m. to 7 a.m., and then everyone leaves the shelter and they kind of wander aimlessly around Main Street, providing some type of day services, whatever services they might need. And we went up to Lightbridge. It's a shelter up in Salem, Mass. It's a much smaller shelter than the one we have down here, but they do a pretty good job in the day service that they provide to all of their clients. I mean, they even offer college degrees through Salem State, through the shelter itself. It's a pretty good program. I was impressed with it. And then about 2 weeks ago, all the social service agencies, the manager of our current shelter down here, they went up to take a look at it. And now we're all banting about a bunch of different ideas and see if we can make something like that work down here. I think that would be a huge benefit to the merchants and the residents who live near and around downtown Hyannis.
Indeed, because as we see, because the Noah shelter is only open at nighttime, there's really no place for these people to go during the day. And of course, whereas there are some other services like the Pilot House or like the Champ Homes, etc., those are more intensive programs to get into. And this you're talking about more of a something like the Noah shelter, a temporary place for people to go, but that would be open during the daytime hours, so they wouldn't have to be out on the streets during 2-degree weather or even during the summertime too.
That's exactly right. Everybody knows the emergency sheltering program does not work, but a full service shelter does work. And if people come to the shelter knowing that the full service shelter, they might change their mind. They might not even come here because to stay here, you have to fulfill certain obligations. And the way they do it and the way they lay out the program up in Salem, I was impressed. I mean, they do a great job down here. Social service agencies do a good job down here. HAC does a good job down here. NOAA does a good job down here. But I'd like to just see it step up that one more step.
And for more from Police Chief Paul McDonald, you can tune into Barnstable This Morning every Tuesday. Town officials are looking for a vendor to run a snack bar at Sandy Neck Beach. A contract to lease the concession stand at the bathhouse is currently out to bid. The lease is for a period of 3 years with an option to extend the contract 2 years. Any interested parties must submit applications before February 7th. For more information, you can visit the town's website or you can also contact the procurement division. Now it's time to take a look at sports with Brenna McCoubry.
Good evening, Barnstable. I'm Brenna McCoubry here on Barnstable Today to give you the latest on New England and Red Raiders sports. Last night, the Boston Celtics fell to the Houston Rockets 104-92. They will play again tomorrow night in Boston at the TD Garden versus the Toronto Raptors. Tip-off is at 7:30. The Boston Bruins are back in their hometown tonight to play the Toronto Maple Leafs. They will be featured on NESN at 7 p.m. Exciting news for the New England Patriots as they move further into the playoffs. They will be away in Denver, Colorado to face the Broncos Sunday afternoon at 3 p.m. Taking a closer look at the athletics here in Barnstable, all basketball teams will be taking on big-time rival the Falmouth Clippers. Boys teams will be home at Barnstable High School Gymnasium, JV at 5 and varsity at 6:30. The girls teams will travel down to Falmouth, JV at 5 and varsity also at 6:30. Taking place tonight, the girls gymnastics teams host Carver High School at 8 p.m. Good luck to all Red Raiders teams. That's it for New England and Barnstable sports this evening. Here on Barnstable Today, I'm Brenna McCoubry.
Thanks for watching. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannel.